All right, now we get to learn why I'm not a radio announcer. Mic check in front of 24,000 people. So yeah, thanks for joining for what is going to be the final Q&A, or PMQ as we used to call them, with 4chan. And hopefully I think it's an opportunity for you all to roast me, or I've got to hear myself in the background now. Okay. Just kind of say our goodbyes and ask any questions, and I'll try to respond to as many of those questions as I can, and obviously as honestly and thoroughly as possible. And so let's begin. So if you are not checking the Q&A board, just go to. I'm not going to use the Hangouts feature to take questions, and comments are disabled on both the stream or the Hangouts and the YouTube page. And so go to boards.4chan.org/QA, and one of the moderators has put up a sticky, which is already 1,500 posts. It's going to take forever. It's good to see. The last time I did one of these, I spent 4 hours doing it. I don't expect to do it that long this time around, but that was the limit. Now it's an 8-hour limit, so I guess we can go for a marathon maybe. But so the stickies will be capped off and kind of rotated out. And so if that sticky is locked, then go to the next one. Whatever the unlocked sticky is, the one where you should be asking your questions. So okay, so the first question, pretty straight shooter, number 520. When did you first feel you were losing touch with the user base? I mean, it's hard to ask. I mean, first of all, it assumes that I have lost touch, which I guess most of my detractors will loudly claim. But I founded 4chan when I was 15, and obviously my interests have changed since then. I mean, when I was 15, I used to basically sit on my computer all day, every day, and I more or less still do that. Although, then I used to read Something Awful and, spend a lot of time in chat rooms and IRC, and, I was watching a lot of anime. I mean, that's how 4chan kind of came to be. These days, I spend a lot of time on the computer, but seem to mostly be wasting my time on the internet, just kind of poking around, reading the news, reading my email. I have a much kind of more boring existence. And, as A knows, I don't really watch as much anime anymore. I mean, I still play games on occasion. I mean, I might play a few games a year. I'm afraid to name my choice in the games because V will probably shit all over them. But I played GTA Online earlier this year, and Last of Us, and a few iPhone games. I'm still trying to beat Hyperhexagonist on the iPhone, but again, like my interests have kind of shifted over the years, and so I guess that to some of the kind of older users and kind of diehards, the fact that I am not as kind of up to speed with anime and video games and whatnot has been kind of interpreted as I've kind of forsaken, I guess, the early community. But again, I would just say my preferences have shifted, and again, my responsibility and kind of role over the years has been to act in the best interest of the community at large and the website. And I think that despite the fact that maybe I don't have the same interests that I did when I was younger, I've always acted in a way that I think has served the kind of greater community, which I think speaks to kind of a larger kind of rift over the years, is that a lot of people, I think, kind of fail to appreciate how large 4chan is and how varied the boards are and how varied the demographic of users are. And sometimes that's actually one of the reasons we implemented the unique users and threads, just to give people an idea of how many people are actually participating in thread. But I think that a lot of people sometimes kind of interpret their own worldview or their own opinions or views about the site or their board or whatnot as the canonical view, and kind of fail to appreciate that there are more stakeholders than just themselves. Obviously, just the threads that they like, just the boards that they like, and there is a and even posters. I mean, again, about maybe 2 million people will post 4chan to 4chan in any given month, and about 20 million people browse it. And so, I mean, that's gigantic, right? And if you go back and read these old news posts that I used to make, but there's one called Full House that I kind of pointed out that, 4chan has kind of come to serve a gajillion people since its inception. And, we've updated the software, obviously, and we've added, various features that have kind of helped it scale to a larger audience. But at the end of the day, I mean, the basic format of the boards and the way that threads work hasn't changed in 11 plus years. And so, we're accommodating 20 million plus people with about, I think it's, well, I guess today, 64 boards. And, there are certain kind of limitations on how well that'll work. And, you tend to see kind of a decrease in quality as kind of post rate and whatnot goes up. And so again, I think people have just this very kind of specific view of the site and how it's being managed and whatnot. Depending on where they're browsing, and kind of fail to appreciate that it's a lot of people under one roof who again all have their own different views and own different kind of wants and needs. And the challenge in any sort of administrative role is to to again serve as many people as possible as best you can. So I mean that's been the goal. Let's see. Are the rumors of you selling out to the SJWs true? Can you tell us why Pol has turned into the new B? I'm sure I'll get this question 1,000 times today. I don't understand what that question means. But I have not sold out to the social justice warriors. As far as I can tell, nobody really identifies with that term, but that is the boogeyman of the moment. Can you tell us why Pol was turned to the new B? Yeah, no really reason other than decided to kind of harken back to old 4chan fun. I think it did actually kind of serve a purpose to kind of drive off a certain percentage of the user base for the better. And I do think that the flags and IDs, actually have kind of increased the quality of the board. It's still more or less moderated in terms of what content is removed. Really the only things that are removed tend to be blatantly off-topic things. But I would say, I poked around Pol since its inception, and I would say, on the whole, it's probably better today than it has been in the past. But again, I'm sure that you can find 1,000 people that'll disagree with me. Why not? So number 541. Why not just delete TV at this point? This is a huge question and more of a statement. Let's see. It's actually, I don't need to read the stance to this, but why would we delete it? Again, tens of thousands of people use it. Just because you don't like it or its kind of current form doesn't mean that those tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. In fact, I can actually pull up analytics. I should probably have that up. Just because you don't like it, again, 4chan is kind of the epitome of stop liking what I don't like. And if you don't like it, then going back to the age-old advice of don't browse it, hide and delete, or rather hide and report. But if you have a concrete suggestion as to what exactly to change, again, in the past I've always welcomed those via email. I very rarely get kind of constructive feedback other than go die in a fire, or XYZ sucks, or fire such and such mod, or ban this user. And so if you had concrete suggestions, but I feel like, again, the people that kind of complain about a board are, it's usually kind of, unless there's a real kind of objective problem that exists that every user of the board is facing, which are difficult to find because, again, your interpretation of how things are is very much based on your own view, and is largely not representative of probably the view held by the majority of users. But